Imagine two people waking up at exactly the same time. They both have 24 hours ahead of them. One will end the day exhausted, busy, and strangely unfulfilled. The other will end the day energized, focused, and closer to long-term wealth. The difference is not luck. It is not intelligence. It is not even opportunity. The difference is how they think about time. Millionaires do not see time the way most people do. For the average person, time is something to spend. For a millionaire, time is something to invest. That single mental shift changes everything. When you spend time, it disappears. When you invest time, it multiplies. Most people trade time directly for money. They think in terms of hours worked and wages earned. If they want more money, they believe they must give up more hours. Millionaires understand this trap early. They realize that if income is tied only to personal effort, there will always be a ceiling. There are only 24 hours in a day. Even if you work every waking moment, you cannot create more time. So instead of squeezing more effort into the same hours, millionaires ask a different question. How can I use this hour to create value that keeps producing even after the hour is gone? This is why they obsess over leverage. Leverage is the art of making one unit of effort produce multiple units of return. A single hour spent building a system, creating an asset, training a team member, or learning a high-income skill can generate income for years. In their minds, time is not measured by how long something takes, but by how long its impact lasts. Think about how most people approach their mornings. They react. They check messages. They respond to notifications. They let other people's priorities fill their schedule. Millionaires guard their mornings fiercely because they understand that the first hours of the day are often the most focused. They use that time for thinking, planning, and building, not reacting. They ask themselves, what is the highest value use of my mind right now? To a millionaire, busyness is not a badge of honor. In fact, it is often a red flag. Being busy usually means being reactive. It means time is fragmented into small pieces that cannot produce deep work. Millionaires value uninterrupted blocks of time because they know that meaningful results require concentration. They schedule thinking time. They schedule creative time. They schedule strategy sessions with themselves. They know that a single wealth-out decision can be worth more than weeks of scattered activity. Another way millionaires think differently about time is through the lens of opportunity cost. Every yes to one activity is a no to another. The average person might agree to attend every meeting, accept every invitation, and respond to every request out of habit or fear of missing out. A millionaire pauses and evaluates. If I say yes to this, what am I giving up? If I spend 2 hours here, what value action am I not taking? They understand that time is not just about what you do. It is about what you give up when you choose to do it. This is why they are comfortable saying no. It is not arrogance, it is clarity. They know their goals. They know their priorities. And they know that diluted focus leads to diluted results. By protecting their time, they protect their future wealth. Millionaires also think long-term in a way most people do not. Many people operate on short cycles. This week, this month, this year. Millionaires often think in decades. When they consider a decision, they imagine its consequences 5, 10, or 20 years ahead. They are willing to sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term gain because they see time as a compounding force. Just as money compounds with interest, habits compound with time. Reading a few pages a day might seem insignificant. Exercising regularly might not show dramatic results immediately. Investing small amounts consistently may not feel exciting, but millionaires trust the power of accumulation. They understand that small, intelligent actions repeated over years can create extraordinary outcomes. Instead of chasing quick wins, they build consistent routines that stack advantages over time. Another powerful difference lies in how they value their hourly rate. Most people know their wage. Millionaires calculate their effective value per hour and constantly look for ways to raise it. If their time is worth $1,000 an hour in strategic decision-making, why would they spend it on tasks that could be outsourced for $20? This mindset pushes them to delegate early and often. They hire assistants. They build teams. They automate processes. They do not see delegation as a cost. They see it as a time investment that frees them to focus on higher value activities. This is also why they are careful about the information they consume. Time is not only lost through actions, but also through distractions. Endless scrolling, negative news cycles, and unproductive conversations drain mental energy. Millionaires curate their environment. They read books that sharpen their thinking. They listen to podcasts that expand their perspective. They surround themselves with people who challenge them. They treat their attention as a precious asset because attention directs time and time directs results. In conversations, you will notice that wealthy thinkers often speak about the future in vivid detail. They're not merely hoping things will improve. They are planning for it. They reverse engineer their goals. If I want to reach this level of income in 10 years, what must I build in 5? What must I start today? They map time backward from their vision. This makes their daily actions intentional rather than random. Patience is another defining trait. Many people quit when results do not appear quickly. Millionaires expect the delay. They know that meaningful ventures often require years of persistence before significant rewards appear. They are prepared for the valley of uncertainty. They see time not as an enemy, but as an ally that filters out the impatient. While others give up, they continue refining, adjusting, and learning. When setbacks occur, their time perspective again sets them apart. The average person might see failure as wasted time. A millionaire sees it as paid education. They extract lessons. They analyze what went wrong. They adjust their strategy. Instead of regretting the months spent on a failed project, they ask how that experience increases their odds of success in the future. In this way, even lost time becomes an investment. Millionaires also recognize seasons. Not every period of life is meant for harvesting. Some seasons are for planting, others for building roots. Early in their journey, many wealthy individuals work intensely, sometimes sacrificing leisure to establish foundations. But once systems are in place, they shift from labor to leadership. They design their lives so that their businesses and investments operate with less direct involvement. They are not aiming to work forever. They are aiming to build something that works for them. This leads to another powerful belief. Freedom is the ultimate return on time. Money by itself is not the goal. The goal is control over how time is spent. Millionaires often ask, does this decision increase or decrease my freedom? A high-paying opportunity that traps them in constant stress may not be attractive if it steals autonomy. They prioritize flexibility because they understand that the true luxury is choosing how to use their hours. Relationships also reflect this time philosophy. Instead of spreading themselves thin across countless shallow connections, they invest deeply in a few meaningful ones. They understand that trust, loyalty, and shared history grow over time. Strong networks are not built overnight. They nurture partnerships patiently, knowing that a single solid relationship can create opportunities worth millions. Health is another area where their long-term view of time shows up. They realize that wealth without vitality is fragile. By prioritizing exercise, nutrition, and mental well-being, they are effectively extending the number of high-quality years available to them. Taking care of their body is not a hobby. It is asset protection. A longer, healthier life means more time to create, invest, and enjoy. When it comes to decision-making, millionaires value speed combined with thoughtfulness. They do not procrastinate endlessly because they understand that delayed decisions consume mental space. At the same time, they avoid impulsive choices that could create long-term problems. They gather key information quickly, trust their experience, and move. This bias toward action compresses learning cycles. The faster you test ideas, the faster time teaches you what works. They are also comfortable with boredom. In a world addicted to constant stimulation, the ability to sit quietly and think is rare. Millionaires cultivate this skill because big ideas often emerge from silence. They allow their minds to wander strategically. They reflect on patterns. They review goals. This reflective time might look unproductive from the outside, but it is often where the most valuable insights are born. Another dimension of their thinking involves legacy. Many millionaires eventually shift from accumulation to impact. They begin to ask how their time can create value beyond their own lifespan. Whether through philanthropy, mentorship, or building enduring institutions, they seek to extend their influence into the future. This long arc of thinking shapes how they allocate hours today. Actions are measured not only by immediate profit but by lasting significance. Scarcity and abundance also influence their perception of time. People with a scarcity mindset often feel there is never enough time. They rush. They panic. They multitask frantically. Millionaires cultivate a sense of deliberate control. They accept that they cannot do everything, so they focus on the few things that matter most. This selective focus creates a feeling of abundance because progress becomes visible. It is important to understand that this mindset is not reserved for those who already have millions. In fact, it usually develops before the money arrives. Wealth tends to magnify existing habits. If someone wastes time consistently, more money will not fix that. But if someone treats time as a sacred investment, the compounding effect eventually becomes visible in their bank account. Consider how they approach learning. Many people stop structured learning after formal education. Millionaires view education as a lifelong process. They dedicate time weekly to studying markets, technology, psychology, and leadership. They know that the world changes rapidly. By staying curious, they position themselves ahead of trends. Instead of reacting late, this proactive learning saves enormous time in the long run because they avoid outdated strategies. They also design their environments intentionally. If something repeatedly wastes time, they change the system rather than relying on willpower. If meetings are inefficient, they restructure them. If emails consume hours, they implement filters and templates. They are system thinkers. Instead of fighting chaos daily, they engineer simplicity. Rest is another area where their thinking may surprise you. While they work intensely, they also recognize the value of recovery. Burnout destroys productivity. Strategic rest, vacations, and mental breaks are seen as performance tools. By stepping away periodically, they return with sharper focus and renewed creativity. Rest is not laziness. It is maintenance. When they evaluate opportunities, they think in terms of return on time invested. Some projects might promise high revenue but demand constant attention. Others might offer moderate income with scalable potential. They analyze whether the time required aligns with their long-term goals. This disciplined evaluation prevents them from chasing every shiny object. They are also mindful of the company they keep because conversations shape perspective. Spending hours with negative, cynical individuals can subtly shift beliefs. Millionaires guard their mental environment. They seek mentors and peers who challenge them to grow. Time spent around high performers often accelerates personal development. As their wealth grows, their relationship with time evolves further. In early stages, they may trade time strategically to build assets. Later, they transition to protecting time fiercely. They create buffers in their schedules. They limit unnecessary commitments. They focus on high-impact decisions. Their calendar becomes a reflection of their priorities. Ultimately, the millionaire mindset about time is deeply intentional. Nothing is accidental. Hours are allocated according to values and vision. They do not drift through days, hoping for success. They architect their schedules to support it. If you listen closely, you'll hear a recurring theme: ownership. Millionaires take ownership of their time. They do not blame bosses, markets, or circumstances for lost years. Even when external factors create challenges, they ask what they can control. This internal locus of control empowers them to adjust quickly instead of feeling victimized. The powerful truth is that everyone receives the same daily deposit of time. The difference lies in interpretation. Is today something to survive or something to design? Is this hour a burden or an opportunity? Millionaires answered these questions differently. They see each day as a building block in a much larger structure. In the end, wealth is rarely created by dramatic single moments. It is built through thousands of disciplined choices about how to spend, invest, and protect time. Every focused morning, every book read instead of mindless scrolling, every strategic conversation, every calculated risk taken after thoughtful planning. These decisions accumulate quietly until one day the results appear significant. If you want to think like a millionaire, start by examining your calendar. Look at where your hours go. Ask whether those activities are expenses or investments. Shift even a small portion of your day toward value actions. Over weeks and months, that shift compounds. Time will pass, no matter what. The question is whether it will pass leaving you older or leaving you wealthier in experience, relationships, health, and financial assets. Millionaires understand that time is the ultimate currency. Money can be lost and regained. Time only moves forward. So they treat it with reverence. They protect it. They multiply it through systems and people. They align it with purpose. And in doing so, they transform ordinary hours into extraordinary results.